Native American Tribute Project, The Tongva Indians, by Max Bross. History. The Tongva tribe is believed to have migrated to the Los Angeles area, coming from the Sonoran Desert, which is in southwestern United States about 3,000 to 5,000 years ago. However, there is the possibility they arrived even as long as 8,000 years ago. Since prehistoric times, the Tongva history, as well as its culture, has shaped a large part of Southern California. They are also known as the first people that greeted Spanish ships that came to California in 1542. Religion. The Tongva tribe believed in a kind of religion that was named after their creator, Ching Ish Nish. Artists had created sand portraits that represented the universe next to altars that dedicated to their creator. Both men and women could be shamans, which are people of medicine. Shamans were the healers and religious leaders of the tribe. Many believed that they had special abilities to heal the sick. Also, it was believed that they could change form from human to animal. Form of government. Currently, the Tongva tribe has a tribal council comprised of a chairman named Bernie Acuna, 3 councilmen named Charles Alvarez, Vincent Halguin, and Jerry Maldonado, and a councilwoman named Linda Candelaria. Bernie Acuna was inspired from his grandmother. She is the oldest member from the Gabrielino Tongva tribe that continues to fight for the Tongva federal recognition. Geography. The Southern California coast is well known for sandy beaches, grassy valleys, scrub brush, forests, and woodlands. The Gabrielinos, or Tongva tribe, stayed in this area, which is now present-day Los Angeles and Orange County. The Chumash territory was north of the Tongva tribe. The Tongva occupied some of the Channel Islands as well, including Santa Catalina. The Fernandeño people were north of the Tongva, but historians still include them as a part of the Gabrielino tribe. Language. The language of the Tongva tribe is an Uzo-Aztecan language. The most recent fluent native speakers that are Tongva were alive in the earlier part of the 20th century. However, no evidence has been found to this time that can prove a fluent speaker existed in the past 150 years. The language is mostly documented in the field notes of John Peabody Harrington. There was a project by J.P. Harrington from the Smithsonian and UC Davis, which used his notes on the Tongva language. About 6,000 pages have been coded for documentation through a Tongva member, taking 3 years to complete. Claims have been made of the native speakers who were Tongva who died in the 1970s. There is no liable verification that these natives spoke Tongva fluently. Traditions. The Tongva believed evil spirits or any concept of a hell or devil were not real until Spanish missionaries showed the ideas. Dolphins and owls were seen as highly esteemed, and they were never killed. Failing to show courage could be seen as a great disgrace to the Tongva. Men would purposefully lie on red anthills, then have handfuls of these ants placed on their face as an act of courage. Boys were introduced to manhood by fasting and performing hallucinogenic rituals and trials to show endurance. An elderly man with experience served to instruct the growing boys in the world's origin and their future. They sought visions of a special animal protector. Ceremonies were believed to give the young adults a spiritual nature. The boys were tested for their courage by facing trials of whipping, fire, and having to lie on anthills. Boys who could not endure the trials received reputations of weakness and were seen as cowardice. Major accomplishments. Page 65 of Tending the Wild by Kat Anderson reads, quote, "The expedition sailed to an island, Santa Catalina, and briefly encountered Tongva, Gabrielino Indians. Sailing across towards the mainland, the chaparral fires set by other Tongva Indians indicated to Cabrillo and his men that the land around what is now San Pedro Bay was inhabited." End quote. Though the Tongva Indians may not have changed the way the world currently lives directly, they did take great care of the land that many now call home. Los Angeles and Orange County is an abundant land full of resources. The people of the Tongva tribe managed to discover unique ways to use the resources to their benefit. They were people of medicine, and they were always discovering healthy ways to eat whatever they could find. The Tongva Indians were very resourceful. Controversial people and events and U.S. government treatment. A new name for the tribe came due to the Mission San Gabriel Archangel being established in 1771. This was not a very joyful time for the Tongva tribe because they were mistreated severely. The Spanish had confused the Tongva with a nearby native group that was called the Tataviam. So the Spaniards decided to start calling all the people who were indigenous Gabrielino. When the mission of San Gabriel Archangel had finished completion in 1771, the Tongva contained a population of around 5,000 people. But by about the early 1900s, the culture of the Tongva people was nearly gone. While some records, including historical artifacts, remain, the majority of the language, culture, and artifacts had disappeared. However, it may be important to remember that Loyola Marymount University still has archives that include Tongva culture. Another aspect of importance is that at this time, about 1,500 people claimed to be Tongva or Gabrielino. While California does seem to recognize the Tongva tribe as a serious and real First Nation, the federal government has different views. Possible future. Playa Vista, along with its archaeological firm, are working under a large permit, which is from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. A pact with the State Office of Historic Preservation and the Corps, among others, have been planning a reburial in June, which is about 2 years earlier than believed before. During a meeting last month in front of the California Native American Heritage Commission, where many turned out to complain that putting the reburial on a hold was undignified, so a Playa Vista attorney, George Milston, recently announced the process will begin in the next few months. Food. The Tongva ate from a large variety of foods. They consumed sage, chia, acorns, yucca, miner's lettuce, which is also known as Indian lettuce, wild oat, berries, and fish. The Gabrielinos had countless unique ways of retrieving food, like having the men hunt and the women gather, but that is only where it starts. What is the most interesting about them is where they managed to get all the food. Since the tribe lived in the south coast of California, they stayed near the bay for fishing, and they even traveled to the taller mountains in the area, traded and traveled through forests to find berries. Why I chose the Tongva tribe. While many other students may have chosen a tribe because they feel a personal connection or wanted to learn more about why the natives ate people, I chose the Tongva because they are the closest Native Americans in my region, allowing me to explore and learn new things on my own. I did exactly that. I did not have to go far to learn how amazing the Tongva tribe was and still is. If you go to GabrielinoSprings.com, you will find locations that allow you to visit Tongva archives such as the one at Uni High that I just recently visited. However,